I want to share something with you guys that I found a little bit disturbing, and I wanted to ask you the question, did you know about this? Did you know that it's actually become quite normal for young teenagers to be addicted to porn? In 2023, there was an article published and it says, a fifth of teenagers watch pornography frequently and some are addicted. The survey found that a third of children had seen porn by the age of 10. This was published in 2023. Then after that, there was an article posted in 2024. Now almost 2/3 of young people are addicted to online pornography. Now I'm not just going by some random articles here. There's many other things that have led me to this conclusion. I've seen a number of videos now of younger people on YouTube confessing that they've struggled with porn addiction. And these are young people. But then what happens is you look into the comments and there's hundreds of comments from other people saying, yeah, I've struggled with this too. And I have come to the conclusion that, bearing in mind this is a very private type of addiction, if this many people are speaking up and freely about it and saying that they're struggling with it, imagine what the real number is of people who are struggling in silence. So today I want to do a video about the lies that the media tell you about porn. There's a reason why porn has become so normalised, and one of the driving forces is denial. I posted a video probably a year ago now, all about how dark the porn industry really is. And that video got a lot of traction and a lot of disturbing comments as well. There were certain comments that repeatedly came up, and it made me realise that people are holding these false beliefs. It's almost like they're trying to scramble for any excuse that they can find that justifies it, that somehow says that it's beneficial. So today I want to dispel all of those myths because really they're not helping anyone. And if someone believes one of these lies, it can actually be enabling their addiction, which will inevitably lead them down a dark path. One thing that I hear all the time is people saying, porn is normal. Everybody watches it, and if they don't, they're lying. It doesn't take much for me to dispel this. I think people know deep down that this is complete crap. First off, there's a whole community of people online that promote the no-fap movement. And a lot of these men are genuine people who have genuine reasons as to why they quit porn. And it's grown into a huge community of men that support each other through this. Because as much as people like to laugh about it, it more often than not turns into a huge problem. It literally can tear someone's life apart. So my question is, knowing that, ask yourself, does everyone really watch porn? Is it really something that everybody does? And also, aside from the no-fap movement, there are plenty of people that go on a spiritual path of abstinence, celibacy. But the thing is, if you are in a circle of people that all promote degeneracy, you will be under the illusion that this is normal and that it's inescapable and that it's fine and it's healthy, but that's just not true. The next myth that I want to dispel is that actresses in porn are rich, that they love what they do, and it's always consensual. And if it wasn't, you'd be able to tell. Aside from the video that I posted a year ago, where I went in depth and in detail about this, you can actually see, if you look for it, plenty of interviews with ex-porn stars that go into detail about just how horrific their experience was, and how even though at the time some of them pretended that they loved what they did, most of them actually put themselves into a state of denial about what they're doing, but eventually it creeps up on them. But aside from that, there is a huge amount of trafficking that goes on, and you never know what's behind the scenes. But I won't go into too much detail about this particular myth because I did so in my previous video. Okay, this is a big one. This one really gets to me because it's so twisted and it's so wrong. Some people believe that porn somehow benefits society because it reduces the amount of sexual crime that happens and somehow satiates the urges that rapists have. This statement is equivalent to saying that the best way to combat alcoholism is to make sure that alcohol is more available. Or the best way to help an alcoholic is to show them lots and lots of videos advertising alcohol and showing people getting drunk. If you're one of those people that likes looking at data and surveys and stuff, I'd be keen to see if the level of sexual crime has declined in recent years as the availability of porn has increased. And the thing is, this goes really deep. I don't know why a lot of people get triggered by this concept, but in order for someone to develop some form of fetish, they first have to be shown it. I mean, this is really simple if you think about it. Where do all of these weird fetishes come from? They're not just birthed out of nowhere. And the thing is, the human mind can become very obsessive and is always prone to excessive thinking and excessive thought patterns in the simplest of ways. The more that you expose your mind to something, the more that you will think about it. So if someone is that way inclined to be a rapist, it doesn't help them at all to continue feeding their mind with such absurdities. If anything, it will continue to make it worse. It will continue to feed this sick obsession. If anything, and I know people don't want to hear this, the more that people see dark, horrific things, the more they start to embody that. And finally, one of the worst lies that I think needs to be dispelled is this whole idea that men need to regularly release their sexual tension in order to maintain good health. There was a lot of people that commented on my previous video stating that studies apparently show that men who don't regularly release are at a higher risk of having prostate cancer. Now, this is a really, really damaging thing to allow into your psyche if you believe this lie. And some people might be questioning, thinking, how can you question the science? How can you question a study? Let me ask you this. Before blindly accepting the headline of a study, I encourage you to actually look into these studies. Look at the data that they're providing that has led them to this conclusion. First off, you need to think realistically about how they would conduct the study in the first place. If you were a scientist, how would you actually find proof, concrete proof, that these two factors are directly correlated? Because I can tell you straight off the bat that there are many, many other conclusions you could have came to within this study. One being the fact that stress is one of the main causes of the majority of health problems. Now, a lot of men, when they get stressed, their sex drive goes out the window. I'd be keen to look into this study and see whether or not that was even taken into account. And that was just one point off the top of my head. But like I said earlier, there are so many men out there that are adopting the no-fap lifestyle. And these men are literally proving that if you don't keep feeding your animalistic desires, your entire mindset will change. Let me know if you want any more videos on this topic. Thank you for liking, commenting, sharing and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you, bye. You know I'll be